Here we go. 2, 1. Boom. Welcome back, everyone, everywhere, to the Elite Thinking Club. Chris, Jules, Julien, joined tonight by my co-hosts, as always, Michael and Liz. You guys good?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
All
always
all
right.
good.
good.
You?
Happy days. So, yeah, buzzing, buzzing. I was really excited about this episode. So, I just feel like it's a passionate part of my life. What is this episode about? It's about our favorite books and how they've come into our lives and what they've done for us. So if you're just tuning in, welcome everyone everywhere. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We really value that. Thank you. Shout out to all of our current subscribers and all the viewers right now, and especially you at home watching. Maybe it could be the first time you've tuned into the episode. So, recap, we spoke about artificial intelligence and the power it may have moving forward. We had a lot of different views about it because that's what we do here at the Elite Thinking Club. We're critical thinkers and we just explore things because you can't change anything unless you're willing to understand it, and you can't understand it unless you're willing to explore it. Good debates don't. We talk about things that may make people feel vulnerable because of their beliefs held sacred, may be challenged because of their life experiences. But we're not trying to make people wrong or to incite riot, but just simply explore. So, welcome to the Elite Thinking Club. Uh, like I said, if you haven't done so already, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, follow us for future episodes because, you know, it's a healthy place and space for you to critically think. Right. So, let's go straight in with like tonight's episode, all about like the best books for growth, the best books for personal development. Quick question to all the viewers and audience watching, and especially you right now watching, like, what does a good book do for you? What does it mean to you? Why is it that certain books come into your life that you didn't choose? Someone may have recommended it. And if you do have a favorite, then put it in the comments. Let us know exactly why it is that you rate it your favorite book. And then tonight we're going to share some of our favorites as well. So stay tuned for that. Michael, Liz, what does a good book do for you and why? What is it about books that you have in your life that have, I don't know, changed it for the better, or you just keep on the
Touches,
shelf like you value?
touches my soul, teaches me something, makes me think differently. That's a good book.
Mine's more
I
about
agree.
imagination. Like I read a book from Chris Ryan a few years ago,
Yep.
and every time I think about books, I
Yeah.
always go back to a scene in it because films are okay. I mean, films are really good, but the your imagination has got the best graphics ever. So, like, there's a scene in it that one of the guys kills one of his best mates because of miscommunication. And
Oh,
so that thing is like because I've been to a train because it happens at a train station. Because I've been to a train station,
yeah.
I can see it all. Like even
Yeah.
now, I can see the scene, and it's just it deeply affected me because of I
Yeah.
hate
So film.
lies, I hate mistrust,
Yeah.
and he killed one of his best friends because of mistrust. So it was just like,
Yeah. Films are
yeah,
great, but they're always set by, like, we always say this, but the films are created with the director's narrative, right? So whatever he wants to be filmed, or however he wants to make the scene look and feel, that kind of do it. Whereas a book, it's like you are transported, like you said, Michael, into your vision of what's being described. So you're actually creating how you see it rather than what someone else is seeing it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I love that you mentioned that. Quick shout out, big shout out to Nini. There she is on the
Hello,
TikTok.
Nini,
See you, girl.
Hello,
You all
Nini.
right?
always there.
I think
Always
it
there. Been there from the
makes
day.
you realize the power of the mind as well when you read, because
Yes.
of how it can make you think and go off in different sort of channels, and like you said, with your imagination and how you can
Hmm.
visualize things and how you can kind of make how the characters look in your own mind, your own perception of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
One of the books that I like a lot is like the Harry Potter, right? I like how it's be created by J.K. Rowling. Then they made the film, which obviously gave it that oomph a little bit more, because then people who don't read still got to see what she was creating, which is cool. However, when I watched the film first, but then I listened to the audio book by Stephen Fry, and he's great at narrating, awesome at
yeah,
doing the the vocals, and I thought it was just so much better than the films. I thought this guy actually nails the characters, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I still had the characters from the film appear in my mind because I saw the film first. But then if I'd listened to the audio first, I feel like I would have had a whole new imagination of what the characters would have looked like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we're touching on fiction books, you know, things that aren't real. We also have non-fiction books, which personally I read a lot more of than like stories. Stories, I prefer film. I'm not gonna lie. I like watching films, especially Marvel. I can't see myself reading books on Marvel, even if it is a comic to begin with. But if they made a book about it, I don't think I'd read it the same as like how engrossed I am in the films. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
So there's always like that element to it. But hey, you, the viewer, we want to know what books you like and why, and how has it become so, you know, why would you have it on your shelf? Like, I have a bookshelf. Everyone sometimes comments on what my books mean to me. And I've took a few tonight to just go through, and the ones that are really, really dominant and profound in my life. And as to why. Michael, Liz, I know you've got yours at the ready as well. So we're going to take it in turns and just go through a few. I'll kick start. And I don't know what it is about this book, but it is probably the most powerful book that I've ever read in regards to understanding a little bit more about the world I live in. And this book is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Big ups to the man who put it together, you know, and he didn't do it alone. I'm sure he got a lot of people helping him, but thank Christ that he made this book. It's a brief history of humankind. And I did a post about this, and I read the first page of it, and it's so engaging from the start. It actually strips it right back to what we are and how we became where we are currently. If you haven't done so, you should check this book out. There's a lot of hype behind it, and there's also like sequels to it as well, which I haven't read. But you know, that doesn't mean I'm not going to in my life. All I know is this one is huge. The blurb is: fire gave us power, farming made us hungry for more, money gave us purpose, and science made us deadly. A lot of people rate this book. A lot of people rate this book. If you haven't done so already, then honestly, check it out. And there's also a kids version as well, which I bought for my niece. It's got pictures in it, and I think they're going to be turning it into like a cartoon series, so that it really does help people learn a lot more about the history of humankind. Liz, I see you holding it up there. I mean, you've got it on your bookshelf as well. So talk
I
to us.
got it
Why?
because of you, Jules. You
Go on.
brought this into my life, and I I've got the next one on, which is Homo
Deus?
Deus,
Yeah, yeah.
and incredible, incredible books. I'm still going through, dipping into this one and starting that one. So I recommend it, highly recommend it, and it's not something that you will probably have read like before, really. Like, it's definitely not for me. Like, it is for me, but I mean, when I started reading it, I was like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah, it's
me.
mind blowing. It is
It
genuinely
is,
mind blowing.
it
Talks
is,
about
and it's
cultures.
really, 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 really educational.
Yes,
Like,
exactly that.
really educational. So yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but when I read books, it's almost like I'm updating my software. I'm updating my current state of like computer power. It's like,
Totally.
you know, it's like and also I remember one time I was chatting to this lady who was trying to recruit me because you know, she was just growing her business, and she said, I can tell that you're well read. And I didn't know what she meant at the time, but the power to articulate how you feel and what you think is great when you practice vocabulary. So just to read, even if you're not really reading for the sake of downloading new information, you're just simply updating your vocabulary so you can just deliver. You know, you can just actually speak what you think or feel. Very, very
Mhm.
good. And
I think
that's
it's
another
good as well to read books that are out of your comfort zone, or not sort of your genre. Like, or not something you would normally pick up. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't have come across this had you have not brought it into my life. So I love it. I think it's good because it's something different, but definitely one of the best books my eyes have seen.
And refreshing. It's just refreshing. Like how you can create your own perception of reality, and there may be things that you believe that just might not be true. And then for a historian to come along and actually say, well, actually, this is why it's the way it is, and this is how we became what we are, it just makes sense of it. You know, it helps you make sense of it. And that's like sometimes so empowering in yourself. So yeah, that's our first book that we're rating. I don't know. Yeah, I'd rate it as my number one. That's my number one. So thanks, guys, for just, you know, hearing me speak about that. Michael, you're next up.
So
Talk to us
my favorite book, which with most of my books, I've only read about half of them. Or, but this one, I see the film first.
Okay.
So it's about a boxer. So this was ages ago when VHSs were.
Sorry, what's the title first?
The 16th round.
The 16th round. Okay.
So it's this was when VHSs were around. So my dad had hired a film called Hurricane, and
Yeah.
I see it was like sticking out because back in the day you had to rewind the film, and so when you rewind it, it ejects itself. So I'll see a film in there called Hurricane, and I was like, I'm not watching a film about fucking hurricane. Like thinking like it's the weather thing. And then there was nothing on telly. So I was like, oh, I'll watch it. And it actually is my favorite film of all time. It's Denzel Washington is the main star in it.
Yeah, big up Denzel.
But it's about so it's about this guy that he was a boxer. He had a few run-ins with the law in the past.
Yeah.
And a detective just hated him. Like, he just hated him because he was a famous black man. And the detective was a white man. So it was about race. So he hated
this
the
is
fact
this
that
is
he
probably
was...
it's a true story. This is a true story, but
Yeah,
it
it's a
was
true
set
story.
back when racism was probably a lot more it was almost legal, wasn't it, back then? Like,
Yeah,
I suppose. I don't know. Is
Yeah,
it
so
is a boxer called Rubbin?
Yeah, Rubbin Hurricane Carter.
Rubbin
Wow.
Hurricane Carter. There you go.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the film. I actually think I've seen the film. Because when he's in his prison
Oh, it's
cell,
amazing
he
film.
actually uses books as body armor, doesn't he? He puts books in his clothes to protect him. Because when the guards come in to kick the shit out of him, he ain't going out about a fight. He literally wraps his hands, and then he's like, "Well, come on in, one by one. You line them up. I'll knock them out." And it's a great scene, a good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the script for the story. So he was writing his book, and he didn't want that to be thrown away. So that's why he put it down there. So he said that it was his way out. And then a kid that was trying to learn to read found his book years and years after it was published, just in like a charity shop.
Yeah.
And started reading it. And then so the first like lines in it are literally the first lines that he reads in the book when he first gets it.
So not only are we talking an episode about books, we've found and discovered that the power of someone writing a book, it will land in the right hands, and it's that one individual who will take it and read it, and it will change their life, right?
Yeah,
magic, absolutely.
Yeah.
Magic.
So on the front it says
we've got a
number
lot of
one contender to number 45472. So he's the number one contender for the
Can I just ask, how did he like end up in prison? Because this detective, was it like a corrupt thing, or?
Yeah, so he was at a party one night, and then a bar got robbed by they think it was two white people. So, and then the cars looked semi-similar, but then they pulled over Rubbin Hurricane and the guy that offered to drive him home that night. So he knew about him because he was obviously famous, but nothing much more. I think his name was Artis or something like that. But he just happened to be in a car when he got pulled over. And so when they come to the door, they was like, "We're looking for two black people." And then Rubbin was like, "Any two will do." So then they went to the hospital. The guy that was still alive at the time basically said it wasn't them.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the detective, they found the people that actually did it, and then they testified that they see them do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
the injustice. I'm gonna
Right.
have to
So
watch this
that
film
right
and read
there
this book.
is, what's the name of the
It's
title?
amazing.
What's
So
the
the
title
book
again,
is
Michael?
called The 16th Round.
The 16th Round
And
by
the
Rubbin
film
Hurricane
is,
Carr.
yes, it's by Rubbin Hurricane Carr. Because
And
there
the
is
film is
another
called
book
Hurricane.
about it, but it's like someone writing about him. This is his actual book that he wrote. Because I got the other
And
one,
that. Mm-hmm.
and then when I found out it wasn't the right one, I threw that one away, and then got this one. But yeah, the film's called Hurricane. It's my top film.
Amazing. So that is not Michael's number one book. And if you haven't done so, maybe you want to check the film out or just go straight in for the book, depending on what you like to do first. So yeah, love that. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that. We've got a lot of comments, guys. I really appreciate that. Talk amongst yourselves in the comments. That's absolutely fine. And we'll check them all later. But if you aren't done so already, head over to our YouTube and you can see all three of us, myself, Michael, and Liz, all together on the live. So you can actually put a face to the voice and also see the books that we're holding up, so you get an idea of what the cover looks like. But all links to all books I'll put in the description, so you will be able to, if you want to, get them on Amazon or whatever. Right. Liz, you're up next.
Oh, I don't know which one
great
to
book.
pick. Well, obviously, like I had the same one as you. Love this book. I am gonna go for. Okay, so I'm gonna go for this one. Oh, hold on. There's
Before
so
you
many.
finish, Liz, you need to refresh your page.
Oh, okay.
She'll be back in a sec. We are the Elite Thinking Club. For all those that are just tuning in, or whether you're on the TikTok or the Twitch right now, even following us on Discord, or if you're on YouTube, you already know. But find us, the Elite Thinking Club, and yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and comment on some of our videos. Exactly, and the Discord. Right, Liz, you're back.
So,
yes.
So, the book that I would like to introduce you all to, this also is a true story and is also a film, and it's called Into the Wild.
Right. Yes. Okay. I haven't read this book. I haven't seen the film, but I've heard of this.
It's extraordinary. The film really touched me, and yeah, it just had a real effect on me. So I got the book, and it's just amazing. So it's about a guy.
Okay, so what is it? Yes.
Sorry. So it's about a guy. So it's back in 1992. A young man from quite a well-to-do family. He hitchhikes to Alaska and walks alone into the wilderness. And his name was Christopher McCandless. He gave his £25,000 worth, $25,000, sorry, in savings to charity. He abandoned his car and most of his possessions, burnt all the cash he had in his wallet, and invented a new life for himself, basically, in the wild, and completely went back to how we lived in these times in this book.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah, it just goes through like his journey and the people he meets along his travels, what he feels about the world, and how he grows as a person. And there is quite a tragic ending. If you've seen the film, you'll understand why the bus is quite famous.
Right.
And he actually wrote, because he was writing whilst he was on his travels, and sort of going across America and living in the wilderness. He wrote quite a famous quote, and it was,
it's in that bus. It's in the bus.
Yeah, so he wrote it in his book that what he was traveling around with him, and it was found in that bus along with him.
Now, just so everyone knows, this bus is actually quite famous. It's a famous place where a lot of people go it simply because they've read this book or watched the film, and they actually make it their bucket list thing to do. They want to go and see the bus that this guy has, in essence, made famous. And yeah, highly recommend you Google it. I don't know what the bus is. Liz has just disappeared for a sec. When she comes back, I'm gonna ask her what that bus is. And I feel like a lot of people take selfies there, they take pictures there. It's like one of those things, you know, when they go to like Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's a landmark now, if anything. It's a famous landmark. Liz, do you know what the bus is called?
I don't know what the bus is called. It's
Didn't it have a number on the front?
142 Fairbank City Transit System. But
Right.
the famous quote that he wrote in his journal whilst he was traveling, and just before the tragic ending, he wrote, "Happiness is only real when shared."
Yes.
So
Okay.
and that's quite a famous,
That's so
yeah.
true
So
as well.
this is very it's very touching, but it's also sort of opened your mind to freeing yourself from the system, which is what he was doing. He just freed himself from the world, from the system, from money, from the clutches of everything. And he just wanted to go back to basics and be completely free in the wilderness and have a completely, what he felt, 100% authentic human experience. And
That makes me wonder about his quote, how a person on their own would come to that conclusion.
well, I think it
Think
was
about that for a
it
sec.
was during
Just
the sort
when
of
I
last moments of his sort of existence.
Mhm.
I think he'd come to that revelation. He'd learned that along his travels. I think that was
Mhm.
something that he realized and changed in his mind. So yeah.
Thank you, Liz, for sharing that. That's really important. Thank you. I love that, actually. I will endeavor to watch the film. I don't think I'm going to read the book
Yeah.
simply because it doesn't really call to me
Yeah.
um, yet. And I love saying yet because that always,
Watch the
always
film and
leaves
then
it
you
open.
might.
Yeah. I will watch the film. Definitely. Love that.
when I
Right.
went to America for 3 weeks by myself, although it was
Yeah.
really nice, it would have been so much nicer if I shared it with someone. And like, all the things I did, every so often I'd turn around. That's why I did a video blog the whole time, because I wanted to share
Okay.
it with people.
Yeah.
So it'd
Every
been
time
nice
I
to
feel
turn
like
around to someone and say something.
when I've had the most magical moments in my life, it's always shared with someone, and I cannot then recreate it with someone else. We had that moment, we shared that moment,
Yeah.
only we know. It's like almost like a really funny moment or a really funny joke that when you're with someone and then someone else is about, and then you two remember the joke and you crack up laughing, you just die in a laughter, you're creasing up, and the third person's kind of like, "Ah, I wish I was there." I know you wish you were there, but you weren't there. And it's one of those ones where, you get what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, the magical moments are always when no one's recording it, when no one planned it, it just happens.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Just beautiful magic moments. Okay, so a comment. What was the first book? Well, I suppose you're gonna have to go and watch the video on YouTube once it's uploaded, because we're not going backwards, we're going forwards, guys. Right. Moving forwards, I'm gonna move on to my next best book. This was given to me by an old mentor. This book is called Mindset by Carol Dweck. This is actually really famous book because this lady managed to explain something using a concept that helps people get their head around things very quickly. So there's two types of mindset according to Carol Dweck. There is a growth mindset and there is a fixed mindset. From birth, she explains that we all have growth mindset. There isn't anything that we look at without thinking, I can do that. So when you're a baby, for example, the first thing you want to do is keep growing. You don't want to stop. You see people doing things and you think, I need to endure to do that. You are sparking your growth mindset, whether they're walking, whether they're eating, whether they're speaking, communicating, and you literally want to do that. So you become growth mindset. The thing about life is you can get to a point where some people can change that growth mindset to a fixed mindset just by their words alone. And that's why a lot of people refer to words as spells. You could tell someone you're not good at that. oh, you're not very good at that. And it makes someone subconsciously actually believe it. If you tell someone there's something enough, they will believe it, and therefore creates a fixed mindset where they don't see beyond that. We have so much potential to keep growing. And when you apply your growth mindset, you will eventually overcome any obstacles or hurdles and become a new version of yourself. And I love that book because she really does go into great detail about how you can apply it. And for example, learning to tie your shoes, I don't know, doing a Rubik's Cube, learning to drive, learning to fly. Some people will actually convince themselves that they don't have it about them to learn to fly a plane. They just think it's beyond them. And that right there is a fixed mindset. There shouldn't be anything that you see that you can't apply yourself to and overcome and become greater. And I just love it. You know, there's also her diagram of the human brain, and she splits it in half. And this is what the best thing about it, how she really does nail it. She has on the left hand side or the right hand side, either or, growth mindset and fixed mindset. And she puts phrases in those brackets to highlight how you verbally speak. So how you speak to yourself. Do you speak to yourself with, I'm going to do this, or I can't do this? Has someone poisoned you by planting in your mind the seed of, you can't do this because you're XYZ. You can do this because you're XYZ. That's like someone impacting me with a positive words saying, you can do this because you're black. You can run fast because you're black. You can play basketball because you're black. You know what I mean? They are using the phrases that empower me almost. But here's the kicker. Here's the real kicker. You could say that to anyone. You're fast because you're white. You know what I'm saying? If as a kid, you don't know no different. So if someone plants those positive seeds in your head, your belief now is so strong that you will apply your growth mindset to do it. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean,
it's a really great book because she
I
helps, if anything, parents. She really helps parents with that book. So yeah, go on, Michael. Sorry.
yeah, I've always had the idea that if I have a child, that I will tell the child that on weekends when they're by themselves and only I can see it, they can fly. Just to get it into their minds that that is achievable. Because I read
That's
ages
amazing.
ago that people can't fly because they believe they can't fly.
Right,
So
right. I've said this
Well,
too. I believe that if children saw everybody walking around on their hands, they would strive so hard to, monkey see, monkey do. If they believe that's what we do, they will do it. Yes, Michael, 100% agree with you.
there is a family
my
that walk on their hands.
Yeah.
my son actually believes that he is magical because I tell him he's magical, and I tell him that he has the power of magic just by being who he is. And so there'll be little things that will happen, and he'll say to me, "Oh, that's because I'm magic," and I'm like, "Absolutely." And both my children believe that I can speak to animals, and I have a powerful mind, and that I know magic because
Now, if you grew up in a world where people were telling you, don't be absurd, don't be stupid, don't be ridiculous, you can't do that, then it does limit your growth. But the thing is about the growth and mindset and the fixed mindset, Carol Dweck highlights a lot of different areas about it. So what we're talking about now is belief. You can make someone believe something that isn't necessarily true, or you can make them believe something that is true and just empower them. But she goes into so much detail in that book. So I highly recommend it. It isn't a film, it is just a book. But for any parents out there, not only will you learn about yourself and what you've been taught as young, but how you can also help impact the next generation.
kind of
And
explains as well, like conditioning, doesn't it?
again, and that is another chapter in the book that she highlights and goes in. So yeah, highly recommend it, guys. Again, Mindset by Carol Dweck.
I'm going to get
Really
that.
awesome book. Michael, you're up. What's your next book to share?
So my next one, I've actually got it in paperback and
Yes, Michael.
in Kindle form. I forgot I had it,
Okay.
to be fair.
Is it audio as well?
I don't believe it's audio.
Because this guy that you're about to mention blows my mind. This guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
All right, so who's the author, Michael? For
So
those
the
that are
author
watching
is Derren Brown, not Darren Brown as some people call him. Derren Brown.
Derren Brown.
Yeah. So this is like
And what's the title? Sorry, what's the title?
it's called Confessions of a Conjuror.
Confessions of a Conjuror.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael,
So
why is
it's
this
just
book
it
so
goes
important?
in because it's I love stuff about the mind. So like his books before, like I love most of his books. Like his books before were about how to train the mind, so how to remember things. So if you want to post a letter when you walk past the post office, imagine a big stamp outside the post office. Or if you want to ring someone, like I needed to ring my mate the next day, so I imagine him drinking milk out of the fridge. But then
Okay.
the problem was then every time I walked past the fridge, I could see him drinking milk out of the fridge.
Darren Brown is also world famous for doing a lot of hypnosis work on people. He's so good at understanding human mindset and how it can be tricked. He's actually been banned from a lot of casinos in America simply because he knows how to hypnotize people very quickly into doing what he wants, basically. As in, he could lose a bet at a horse race or a dog race and actually still walk up with the losing ticket to the booth and get them to pay him. If you don't know about Darren Brown right now, I don't know where you've been, but definitely Google him. I'll put some links in the
I didn't
description of some
know
of his
that.
stuff. And yeah, Liz,
Yeah, it's quite.
he's known as a bit of a danger to society. He isn't a menace, but he has got a lot of power in how he can almost Jedi mind trick people. He does
Well,
social
he
experiments as
convinced.
well.
Yeah, he convinced people to rob a bank.
Yes,
He
and
convinced some people to push somebody off a building.
yeah, and one of my most favorite ones that he'd done is he managed to convince people to assassinate people like Stephen Fry. They were
Yeah,
all in on it. They were all actors, but he took time into hypnotizing an innocent person in a social experiment to see if they could be triggered by certain things like a red polka dot dress, or a dog barking or hearing the sound of something, and how it influences thought process to do something. And the reason why he done that was because he was trying to debunk the JFK assassination by Lee Harvey Oswald. He wanted to prove that the human mind can be trained into being triggered and then performing an action like an assassination. Oh, so fucking
and
great.
then
So good.
forgetting
Michael,
about it
thank
after.
you. Yes, yes, and some people would refer to that like the MK Ultra right now. You know, Britney Spears. Michael, thank you so much for bringing in that book. I'm love that you did that, man. Love that. All right, if you right now are
I'm
watching
getting
and
introduced to so many books tonight. I'm going to end this episode and be like, boom, 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 ordering all these books.
definitely expand that mind. Definitely, there's a big world out there, and all of it can't be shown to you in your day-to-day life because day-to-day life is just routine. What you need to do is just allow yourself to be open to a new download. Just take it in and then be like, fucking off. And you know, so right, if you're watching right now, we want to know what your favorite books are. If you don't mind, hit it in the comments. Just let us know because then we can explore it a little bit more and we'll be grateful for it as well because they're supposed to be shared. 100%. Talking about sharing, if you haven't done so already and you've this far into the episode, then hit the like and hit the subscribe button. Helps the algorithm, helps us grow so we can share more to more people. Liz, you're up.
Oh, my
What's your
next
next book?
one. Okay. Right.
Yes, girl in the corner. I see your comment. Like and see your comment as well, guys. I do see them.
Oh my God, there's so many. I don't know which one to pick.
And I know what you're
Oh
talking about.
God. Okay, I'm going to go with this one.
What we got there? Liz?
So this one is called Daring Greatly by
Okay.
Brene Brown. She did a famous sort of podcast and like a Netflix stage show on this book. She's a great author, great woman, and this was introduced to me from a very good friend of mine.
And Liz is cut off again. Typical. Happens way too regularly. And Michael, I think your mic's been switched off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll turn it off because I'm
Oh,
vaping.
sorry, I think I went. So yeah, it basically it's called Daring Greatly. It was a best-selling sensation. How the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead.
Oh my God, yes.
in our lives, because
Yeah.
I think we kind of get stuck in, like you say, in routine and in the rat race, and sometimes we forget that we are actually human, and that, you know, vulnerability is actually strength. So it's just great. It's a groundbreaking book. She did a lot of research on it, like social research. She did it like from home, environment, relationships, parenting, everything. So it opens you up to being more courageous, basically, in your
Love
own
that.
life.
Just so you know, Liz, Nini has commented that she loves Brene Brown as well. So
Yes, she is an amazing author. So I recommend this book, and it's just
100%.
if you just need a really good sort of, just get this book.
It's definitely uplifting, and I totally agree with that.
It came
Learning to
into
be
my life
vulnerable.
at a great time, and my lovely friend Misha recommended it to me, and I'm forever thankful. But also the Netflix Brene Brown, look it up. It's great, and it goes through the book and how she came about from her own experiences into creating the book. Very interesting.
Love that. Brene Brown, guys. There you go. If that sounds like something you would like, then definitely go over and head over to Netflix, watch it, or just get the book. Read the
Get the
book.
book.
That's simple
Get
as
the
that.
book.
Get the book, read the book. Right. So talking about Netflix series, I know that they're currently creating this to I don't know, make it into like a movie type thing. But this book for me changed my life massively. I heard about it years before I bought it, years before I had the motivation to actually read it, because at the time I believed that I didn't need it. I just thought, yeah, it's all going to be all the same. However, I've read it twice now, and I will always go back to it because it is just such a powerful book. It has been highly recommended by a lot of powerful people in the past. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you haven't heard about this book, I'm shocked, because I know that most people have heard about this book, but probably like me in the past, is one of those ones where they're just like, yeah, I'll look at it when it's time. And that's right. When the time is right, it will come into your life. And when you're ready, I suppose you will read it. This for me is a massive personal development book, especially as a man. I don't want to sound sexist when I say that. I just mean that this guy speaks to guys. He talks about a lot of our traits as men. In actual fact, he mentions something that you guys know that I'm passionate about as well, in times of asserting yourself and growth. He talks about sexual energy. So that triggered me obviously onto my practices of semen retention as a man, and how it can greatly impact your productivity and assertiveness and dominance throughout your life in all arenas. And other powerful famous men have backed what he has said in this book. He has principles in this book that if you apply to anything in your life, you will get successful. You will. It's not think and get rich, it's think and grow rich by Napoleon Hill. And it's just awesome. You know, there is I'll put the link in the description as well. Earl Nightingale is a famous author also, and he's such a great speaker. He actually did a quick breakdown of the principles in this book, and he made it a lot more attractive for people who don't have a lot of time to read, but they just want to know the principles and how to apply them. So I'll also put the link in the description to that. But I just want to say big ups Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich, this book, and to anyone who's looking to master their own mind, take control of their life, and apply themselves. I highly recommend reading this book. And yeah, just best of luck. So thank you, Napoleon Hill. Right. Michael, you're up next. What's the next one for everyone watching?
So my next one, I mean, a little bit that you can't see because it's got the sticker on still.
Okay.
But it's this, I mean, it's more aimed towards kids, but there's so much information in it. So it basically goes through how we learn about people's bodies and how they work.
Okay.
So, like everything from your digestive system to your brain to your ears to your guts, everything in your body. Which, again, because I like knowing this stuff, it is a very good book, and it's because it's aimed more towards younger people. It's so easy to digest it. Digest.
So, what is the title and who is the author?
So it is called Horrible Sciences. So that's the author, and
Yep.
this one is Disgusting Digestion.
All right. So you're referring to the horrible like franchise, like the horrible histories. Then they got like horrible science. There's it's a massive franchise, the horrible books, aren't they? Like huge.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
right.
I've
They
got a
are
few of the
directed.
science ones and history ones, just because I like learning about that stuff,
Yeah, man.
and it just breaks it down easier for you to know it, because science is quite hard. Like when you get into it.
Yeah.
So if they break it down for a child, then a dummy like me can learn it.
easier to digest. Happy days. All right.
No pun intended.
Liz, what is your next recommendation for all people watching right now? And why is it so influential to you?
My next recommendation, I'm going to go with, it is Poetry by Tupac Shakur.
Yo. Okay, yes, Liz.
I
go
love
on.
this book. It's called The Rose That Grew from the Concrete.
Mate.
And it has all of his handwritten poems, basically. It's so insightful. It's from before before he was known. It's from when he was younger. He was such a creative soul, and quite a deep and meaningful and emotional soul, which I
Liz,
think that
you've just had like comments popping for you. People are like, yes, Liz, and just
yeah.
like emoji. I didn't even know Tupac had a book. I didn't even
Yeah, like, so look, this is his actual, it's got pictures of the actual poems that he wrote next to it printed.
Wow.
So it's very, you actually get to see it, like, where he scribbled out words and then he's changed it. So it's every single one has the actual handwritten poem and then, it printed. But it's just wonderful. He dedicates the poems to certain people in his life, his friends and people that he loved, and his mother, his friends. There's one called Elizabeth, obviously.
I got chills. I got a few chills right there, because obviously Tupac Shakur, our prophets.
Yeah, but
like,
the actual the rose that grew from the concrete, it's very that's what he says is his like that's his autobiographical poem. So so yeah, it's very insightful, and it's a lot about his journey and about freedom and just a breath of freedom. He's it's just brilliant. And the actual poem that is The Rose That Grew from Concrete, it isn't that long.
You want to read it, Liz? Do you want to
read it? Read it?
Yeah.
Okay. The Rose That Grew from Concrete by Tupac Shakur. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's laws wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else even cared.
Wow.
And that was
That's beautiful. It's just fucking beautiful. Oh,
but honestly, there's just so many. He was so creative and so talented. And yes, we know him for his music, but I recommend getting the book if you like poetry. I love poetry. I love all different types of poetry. And this one is a very, very good.
Yeah, that's a powerful
poetic book.
Big up yourself, Liz, and thank you for sharing that with everybody everywhere. Honestly, I feel like round of applause for Liz for bringing that one to the table, because that was great. Yes, Liz. Oh man, wow. Right,
I might throw the rest of mine away.
Yeah. End of the show. Liz has dropped the mic. Everyone everywhere, thanks for tuning in. Right. If you haven't done so already, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You know what to do. You know how to do it. And thank you for tuning in. Big up yourself. Hope you're taking notes, because I imagine from this episode alone, you're probably going to be, itching just to learn new things. And that's what we're all about here. Right. On the complete flip side of the coin, I don't know why or what actually triggered me to get this book, but it was something that I'd found on my journey in life that someone recommended. I don't know if this book actually is a positive book, if I'm honest. I mean, it's definitely not got a lot of it depends how you look at it, really. In essence, okay, this book is the Bible, if you will, for politicians. If you're going to step into an arena where you can't trust anyone, but you want to rise up the ladder, or at least come out on top, it has a lot of information that if you apply, one, you'll become an absolute savage, and two, you will definitely defeat your enemies. What book am I referring to? I'm talking about the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Now, I don't know if you know about this book, but this book almost got banned. It almost got sentenced to death. They almost didn't want people to have this book because it's just so fucking powerful. If you haven't done so already, just Google it, look at a few reviews, hear a few reviews, and just learn for yourself about it. It's so direct in its approach to teaching you what it is about our human nature, and why we do things. Like some of the laws. Law number 1: never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please or impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. That's the first law. There's 47 others, and it's just I don't know if I do like it, because you learn things and how to apply it, but then will you always be going around life not actually enjoying the moment? You're constantly trying to calculate
Overthinking.
and then manipulate, and then, you know what I mean? Like law number 2: never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Like, hear this: be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become spoiled in tyrannical. But hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal than a friend, because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them.
Whoa.
And that's just like the little bit of the law. Yeah, when you go into the book, it goes into a lot more detail, and he uses examples from history to actually explain what he's trying to say. So that one about friends and enemies, the reason you can use enemies is because you know your enemies from the go. Yeah, it's like they're not trying to hide nothing from you. They're not trying to gain nothing from
You
you.
know
They
they're
are
an
your,
enemy, whereas a
yeah,
friend you don't know whether
yeah,
they're true or not, I
yeah.
suppose.
With an enemy, it's straight down the line. It's right there. You can trust them to fuck you over. You know that. You expect that from them. They hate your guts. Do you know
You
what I
don't
mean?
expect it from your friends.
Exactly. And that's why friends, if you don't expect it from your friends, they have the power to do that. And it's so crazy, because the people I've loved the most have hurt me the most. I've
Quite
never.
a psychological book, isn't it? It's quite psychological.
It's very incredible. Yeah. It's the 48 Laws of Power, by Robert Greene. If you're interested, look it up, do a bit of research yourself, find out if you want to go for it or not. I mean, I only mentioned 2 of those laws. There's shitloads more. And like I said, it is a politician's Bible, right? So just,
Wow.
you know what I mean when I say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael, you're up next.
So this one is by Aron Welsh.
Yes,
Oh,
Michael.
yay! He was on the show.
Yeah,
He was.
I just wanted to sign it for me. Yeah, so that is a crazy story. I don't really want to give too much of it away, because it's it'd be better for you to read it yourself. All I'm gonna say about it is ex-army, got through a lot of shit, and then the strangest thing nearly killed him.
Yes.
So
And
I'm
we
not
have
gonna
had
say
this. We've had this author on our show. He's a special guest. So if you know, before you even read the book, check out the episode. I'll put a link to the description and in the cards, so you can click on it and then just watch the episode. We have him on the show talking about the book and his whole experience. And I'll be fair to say, all three of us kind of fell in love with the book, and we fell in love with the story. Remarkable, absolutely remarkable.
Well, it's the only one since then that you've probably seen nearly every episode. It's the only one that actually lives in my games room. All the others go back down to the.
Michael, quick question: why is it so like profound to you? Why is this book? What is it about this story that's like really, you know, because you do mention the book quite a bit. You do hold it up quite a bit in the episode. You do, you know, it's really had an effect on you. But why?
Just because, like I said, the amount of shit he went through in the army, and only had like a few little scrapes, and then when he got out, he nearly died from the smallest little thing. It's just crazy how life is. So because of that, it's just like it's mind blowing to me.
And he didn't
like
just
you can
die,
survive wars.
Go on.
And fighting terrible people, and then just doing something like weren't even risky. Like I said, I don't want to say too much, but it weren't even risky what he was doing.
But he didn't just nearly die. This guy went into a coma that sparked. He was so dosed up on drugs that what he was bouncing to and from was our reality, what we perceive as reality, and what his mind was perceiving as reality. Because the mind just literally makes pieces of what you see using light. Obviously, light bouncing off, you try and create it, whatever. But what he did was he went into a coma where our current state of reality was being perceived very differently. And he goes into great detail about what he experienced. And great book, Michael.
It's like the imagination thing we said about books. Because his imagination did it, he was living a hell.
Yes, yes.
So he was in a coma for 4 days.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was in a coma for 4 days, but he was actually in his hell. I think he said 4 months or something like that. It seemed like.
Wow.
Awake all the time.
What I like about it, this book, because we've all read it, but what I love about it more is how he makes you feel like you're him.
Yeah.
So his experience, the way he writes it, it's like you're in the driving seat. Like he makes you feel like you're going through what he went through, and it's so like you're living it. You don't actually feel it, but you're imagining and experiencing it as he did, and it's a great book. I really hope that turns into a film. Really,
yeah, it'd be amazing.
Like, I want him to like really blow up with that. Definitely, and then we can say
I definitely want an autograph on it.
Yeah, get him on the show again. Be like, yo, love that, Michael. Thank you for sharing that. If you haven't done so, comment. Come on, let us know what your favorite books are and what they have done to impact your life. Liz, next one.
Okay, the next one. Oh, okay. This is a new one for me. It's called The Celestine Prophecy and Adventure by James Redfield.
Okay.
It's an international bestseller. It is one of those books that it's very spiritually insightful and changes your perception on the world, why you're here, why you're living the life that you're living. And yeah, on the back it says a book that comes along once in a lifetime and changes lives forever. And I'm not too far into it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's come highly recommended to me. Yeah, so it's kind of like a guide. It's kind of like a guide, and teaches you the power of your perception. And
this sounds like my kind of book. Out of all of the books,
I think you would really
apart
like
from Tupac's
it.
one that I just want. I just want to own it.
Yeah.
I just want to own Tupac's one. I don't even want to, you know what I mean, say I've got it and read it. But this one really it's resonating.
It kind of so I'll read the back. Okay. So, passed from hand to hand, from friend to friend, since it first appeared in small bookshops across America, the Celestine Prophecy is a gripping and insightful adventure story that takes you on a quest to find an ancient Peruvian manuscript and the spiritual insights it holds. As you embark on this journey, you will also discover that this remarkable book serves as a guide, which not only has the power to crystallize your perceptions of why you are where you are in your life, but to direct your steps with a new energy and optimism as you head into tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely need that book. I need that. I need that download. I need that information. Give it to me. I need it. I'm like, out of the book.
Yeah, the Celestine Prophecy, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Liz, for that. That's the first one. Well, apart from the Tupac one, but that one really, I feel like I'm actually going to get that book and I'm going to read it. I'm going to digest that.
Okay.
Thank you, Liz. You're flipping amazing. Love that. I love how we're all kind of gaining a little bit of understanding about what's made us the way we think. Like, I love how Michael's brought up the horrible history. I love how he loves Aron's story. I like how, Liz, you're mentioning you like poetry and how we've got books in common as well. Things like that. It's like you see how your vibe attracts your tribe. And I've always said this. I feel like, Liz, you're a part of me, and Michael, you're a part of me as well. Like how I feel like you're both like my yin and my yang. Like I couldn't have found two better co-hosts. That if I was two separate people, do you know what I mean? Like I feel like that, and I really, really love how we're doing this because it's just a nice insight as to what it is, and I love that. I'm nearly running out of books to actually represent, so. There is one that obviously you guys know and I know that it means a lot to me because I actually made it myself, but it's not a reading book so much.
That was my next one.
Yeah, mine.
So this book is called The 10 Pillars of Fulfillment. I made it myself. It took me like 2 years to make because I wanted to get it right, and it's just like draft 21 or whatever. It took ages to create. I wanted to make a book that helped people just find a bit of clarity in their thinking. It's called The 10 Pillars of Fulfillment because I discovered something that helps people. Basically, you've got 10 pillars in your life, and in those pillars you have values, and it's when the pillars no longer embody the value that you start to feel a little bit sad and depressed about life because it's not fulfillment. You don't have any fulfillment in that pillar. So for example, if the pillar is couples and intimate relationships, if the pillar, for example, needs honesty, trust, and loyalty, and you're with someone who doesn't embody those values, then you're not going to be very fulfilled and you're not going to be very happy. So what I did is I created a book with a few exercises that you can do and apply just to acknowledge where you currently are in your mental state. So it's always there, just if you ever need it, and then you can just pick it up, go through the pages, and then it'll put you back on track so you know what you want to work on within your 10 pillars. And I don't want to gas myself up too much, but I'm really proud of myself.
It's a good book.
You know what I mean? Applied myself, I made it, and it's available. So if anybody wants a copy, just DM me or something. And I'm at the point now where I don't even mind if I don't even sell it. I'm happy just to give people a copy and then leave a little bit of legacy.
As long as you join all the social medias.
Yeah, actually, good shout, Michael. Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share everything, and you have to comment and you have to be here all the time, and then you'll get a copy. Yeah.
And if he doesn't take any money for it, I will. Thank you.
There you go. Liz, my accountant as well. Master treasurer right there. Love that. Thanks, guys. So that was your next book, was it, Michael?
Yeah, that was my one I was going to end on.
Wicked. All right, so
as I said this one is the only one I keep in here, but this one actually sits just to the right of me.
Love that. Thanks, Michael. That means a lot as well. That really, really does. Right. Don't want to keep gassing. Liz, let's go. You've got a few left, Liz, so I'm happy for you to, continue.
Okay, so I have got these two books. They're from a series created by the author Richard Templar. So the first one is The Rules of Life.
Okay.
And when I bought this one, I thought I have to buy this one, The Rules to Break. Obviously, I ain't having that without that.
That's it.
So it's really good. So the rules of life, they're both international bestsellers. It's just just like it starts with, I don't know how many rules there are actually, quite a few. So rule number 1, keep it under your hat. You're about to become a rules player. You're about to embark on life-changing adventure. Rule number 2, you'll get older, but not necessarily wiser. And it just goes through, like, it's just really good. Like,
okay, so now I want to know about the rules to break. Yeah, go on.
Dedicate your life to something. There you go.
All right, so I've been living by the rules my whole life, Liz. I know about those. Well,
okay. Okay, right. So yeah, this is the one. This is the one.
Yeah.
So read this.
Yep.
Don't take it too seriously. This is the one you need to focus on. Okay. So what's the first rule we must break?
It's more fun to break rules, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean.
Okay, rules to break. Success is a good job earning lots of money. Rule 1, success is what you say it is. Okay.
Okay.
So rules to break. Some people are just born lucky. So rule number 2, don't envy other people.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Rule number 3, exams aren't the be all and the end all. Yay. Yeah. We know that.
Uh-huh.
So basically, the rule to break, you need the right qualifications. No, break that rule. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
So,
that's so
rules to break. Rules to break. Your parents are always right. Break that rule. Yeah. Don't expect your parents to be perfect. There we go. So it's really good. Like, and each one has an explanation. The world is against you. Break that rule. You are responsible for your own life. So it's a good book. So pick a number, guys. I'm just going to do a random page. Pick a number.
69.
Oh. I knew you were going to say 69. Literally, I got ready. 69. Look, I knew you were going to say it. I know you too well, Michael. That's a good one, actually. Respect the elderly. It says break that rule and respect everyone.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh my God. It's
right.
So
what number did you say, Jules? 24?
Yeah, 24.
Okay, 24 is some people are just difficult. Break that rule. No one chooses to be difficult without a reason.
Yes. Yeah, 100% agree with that. Definitely.
So yeah, there's just loads.
Life path shapes people, and when they like come into my life, for 2 reasons. 1, they're either a starseed like me and we're supposed to be connected, or 2, it's simply because I'm supposed to endure them and I have to test my threshold. I totally get it. And I have to go with empathy. I'm like, somewhere along the line, your life turned you into that person. And I don't feel any kind of way. I just have to empathize. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, every villain once upon a time was a good person.
Another good rule to break. I agree with that, Jules. Stick to what you're good at. Break that rule. Stretch yourself.
I love it. Awesome. I actually haven't got any more books that I wanted to share ready to go. So I've got a lot on my bookshelf, but I don't want to turn around and start like going through my bookshelf to think like, what ones can I share? What can I share? I feel like I've done what I was meant to do on the show. But Liz, I know you've got a couple more. So if you want to, yeah, go for it.
Is that okay? Okay, so this one is quite a few people.
Michael, have you seriously got more?
Yeah, I've got 2 more.
Okay, cool. So Liz, then Michael, then Liz, then Michael.
Okay, so this one is Wim Hof, the Wim Hof Method.
The Iceman.
Yes, and this book will change your life. Like, it is absolutely brilliant, and it will teach you stuff about yourself and push you into doing things that you probably didn't think you could do. It goes through how important breathing methods are, cold water therapy, so much. I highly recommend it.
I'm definitely one for cold showers. I love a cold shower. I highly recommend that, like cold showers. I even don't mind, you know, going for an open sea dip. Like, excuse me, like once you're in the water, your body has no choice but to react, but you need the element of control in it, so you don't go into shock. If you go into shock, you're not in control. Whereas I feel like what Wim Hof does, and don't get me wrong, I haven't read his book, I've just seen a few of his videos. He teaches people how to control that shock factor. And once you're in control of that, you'll learn to regulate your body. And once you
Yeah.
can regulate your body, you become more of the driver of the vehicle. So if you can control your body, you know how to either tap into something that is almost like lost knowledge, but he helps people rediscover it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, powerful list. Thank you for mentioning that one. Big time, big time. Michael, share. What have you got next?
So my next ones are more just if you want to have a good laugh. It's not like meaningful. So I don't know if you can see
Can't see the
the Pepsi one. So it's
Okay.
called Dear Pepsi Cola, and it's written by Terry Ravenscroft. So it's basically him writing to loads of different companies, just with like random fucking shit. So let me just download it so I can say one of them. So he wrote to, I think it was like some airline, like BA or something,
yeah.
saying that he was like a really big guy and he don't think it's fair that he's got paid for 2 seats, and it's just like they're backs and forwards for it. But he writes to a lot of like supermarkets,
Yeah.
just complaining about like the smallest things, and most of the time they just send him vouchers. But yeah, definitely have a look. Like if you just want to have a
I feel like I do.
laugh
I feel
while
like
reading a book.
Yeah, so I've got that one that Liz, what did you recommend? Sentient Prophecies or Sentient
Celestine
Celestine
prophecy.
Prophecies, and now this Pepsi book, because I really want to. This guy sounds like a troll. He sounds like a real life writing troll. He'll just write into he'll probably write into us one day and be like, Elite Thinking Club, just want to let you know. You know what I mean? X, Y, Z. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
need that
it's so
for a
funny.
laugh. Yes, 100%. I can imagine some of the stuff he's wrote before. It just makes so much sense. Like, you know, like how, like, you know, the hot dog company make hot dog jars with 8 hot dogs in, but the bread company only make like packets
6,
of
yeah.
like 6. Yeah, so you've got 2 extra hot dogs with no buns. And I can imagine he's the type of person that would write into him and be like,
Yeah,
"Fuck
yeah, he
you lot,
would.
get together
Yeah,
and think about it." Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
Okay, Liz, your next one.
So my last one is a story that I read years ago, and it's one that I always love picking back up and going back into. And I feel like when I do, I feel like I read pages that I haven't read, even though I have read it. It's kind of like when you watch a film again and you see things that you didn't see before. It's kind of like one of those. It's a remarkable life story of a yogi. And their exploration of the world, and it's a very spiritual book, and it's called Autobiography of a Yogi.
Okay,
That's the book.
I heard that title
And
before.
it's by Paramahansa Yogananda, and it's named one of the 100 best spiritual books of the 20th century. It's his remarkable life story, takes you on an unforgettable exploration of the world, of saints and yogis, science, miracles, death, and resurrection. And with soul-satisfying wisdom and endearing wit, he illuminates the deepest secrets of life and the universe, opening our hearts to minds to joy, beauty, and unlimited spiritual potentials that exist in the lives of every human being. So I highly recommend that. That's my last book.
I love that. What a great book to end on. Perfect. Now, I don't want to go into it too much, but that sounds definitely up my street. Fucking love that stuff.
You
Yeah.
would like it, Jules.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I've actually, and now that has just triggered me to actually want to mention one more book. So this is actually
I
a
got
really,
one
really
more as
short
well.
book.
We're gonna go all night.
This book is called Beyond Birth and Death. For people who know me personally, know that I love to explore. I'm very spiritual, and I love to astro project. I like to open my pineal gland and travel. Books like this are only for people who are open to that stuff. I wouldn't recommend going too deep into it and exploring those realms if you don't have the mind to actually handle it, because this is the reality you are exposing yourself to right now. You've chose this one and experience it. But you know, life beyond death is so much more. You are a consciousness. and you guys know me, and yeah, being a consciousness, you don't suffer like a human does. Humans suffer from hunger, humans suffer from pain, anxiety, jealousy, all these things that you want to experience. I know it sounds like you don't want to, but you have chosen to have a human experience, to experience these things, because when you are just consciousness, when you are part of the universe and you're floating and you're living and traveling through different dimensions, you don't feel those things simply because you are not human. You are your consciousness. But anyway, Liz, thank you for recommending that book. I love that though. So yeah. Oh yeah, that one. Sorry. Beyond Life and Death is by, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I don't know. I'm gonna just put it in the link in the description for people that might want to read a little bit about it. Right, Michael, end us on one. What have you got?
So last one is by the same guy, Terry Ravenscroft. It's called James Blonde, and the punchline is Stockport is too much. So it's basically about a secret agent, but it's like the shittest secret agent there ever is.
It's not a secret then.
So yeah, basically. So, but yeah, it's another one that's just like, it's his flip on a serious thing. Like, so like, it's just a piss take of James Bond. It's definitely worth a read. I really enjoyed it.
Happy days. So guys, we've mentioned a lot of books tonight, and I'm sure the audience or the people watching, or you at home watching, or wherever you're watching us from, whatever device and whatever platform, I'm pretty sure that something we've said tonight has resonated with you, and hopefully we have triggered in you your love for growth again, you're wanting to read more, learn more, expand the mind, expand your vocabulary, expand your capacity to just be more, because there's so much more about you, and also learn more about yourself as well. And like I said, if you want to share, do hit the comments, let us know what your favorite books are. Who knows, we may be mentioning you on the next episode and mentioning, oh yeah, by the way, that person that commented, and love it. In a year's time, we'll just come back to this sort of episode. We will do it again and see what new books we've discovered and on our own journeys, and bring it to the table. So yeah, Liz, Michael, is there anything else that you want to add to tonight's episode?
Just
No,
get on
I
our
really-
Discord, join our socials.
I really
Yeah.
loved it. I'm gonna get some of the books that you guys, and I'm gonna watch that film, Michael. So cheers for mentioning that.
I'm gonna
It's
get that
amazing.
Pepsi one, Michael, because I feel like that's gonna be a bit of a laugh. I can't actually wait for that. I hope it's an audible book as well, because my drives to work and stuff, I'd like to be uplifted by a comedy, and I'm definitely gonna get that one that you recommended, Liz. That definitely spoke to me. Not just a Tupac one. That's I just want to own that, but the one that you said about like celestial prophecies,
Yeah.
just screaming at me. I can feel it screaming at me, so I'm definitely gonna get that. Right. You guys, a few comments. Let's shout out to all the viewers and comments. We got a few on the TikTok. Shout out to Nini. Shout out to Nadine. She's like, my Amazon doesn't like you guys, because she's probably going to be, buying all these new books, which is great. Stack your bookshelf, definitely. Even send us a picture of your bookshelf. We want to see it. And yeah, everyone watching, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Elite Thinking Club. You know where we are. You know where to find us. Find us on YouTube. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Let others know about it as well. Let's grow. Help us on our journey. Liz, is there anything else you want to add to the episode before we go?
No, that's it. I've really enjoyed it. I feel like we're doing our own little book club.
It wasn't a bad episode, was it? It's definitely.
Let's
It
do
is
it.
definitely.
We swap books and we do book of the week and stuff. Yay. You guys are like, yeah, no, we just did the episode.
Don't get me wrong. I got lost in the
Just
episode.
say
I love
yes,
it. I
just
love
go with it.
Okay,
You can
yeah,
let me
Liz, we'll
down
do
at
that.
a later
Yeah,
date, all right?
no, we'll do it, Liz. We'll do it. We'll come back to it. We definitely
Okay.
will. Right. I haven't actually thought about what the next week's episode is going to be about, guys. Do you think of anything that we could talk about next week to explore? A bit on the spot. But I haven't.
Eating bugs.
Off the top of my head.
That's all I keep hearing about at the moment is eating bugs and climate change. That's all I keep hearing about. So we need to, apparently we're going to have to start eating bugs and insects.
I can only imagine what your reels are, Liz, on your Twitter.
So
I don't know what's popping up on your algorithm.
We should look up what bugs they're recommending. No, we're not. I'm not going to be eating bugs, but anyway. We can talk about whatever. I don't mind. That was just a suggestion.
Liz is talking about eating bugs in a book club. Right. I love that. Thank you again for everyone tuning in. Thank you again to you, Liz and Michael. You guys know I love you guys. Without you guys, there would be no Elite Thinking Club. You're here all the time with me consistently, week in, week out. We've been doing this now coming up to over 1.5 years. Cannot wait for the 2-year anniversary just to see. If you haven't done so already, guys, hit over to our YouTube and try check out our earliest episodes. You'll see the growth and you'll see how far we've come so far. It's a proud moment. Really, really proud moment. This episode was awesome. Awesome. Fucking love this episode. Cannot wait to start getting some more future special guests. If anybody knows anybody who'd be interested in joining us on a conversation about themselves, we're more interested about them and what they do in the world in the grand scheme of things, it'd be awesome to just connect the dots and hopefully we can get them on the show. So one more time, shout outs to all the viewers as well. Without you guys, we wouldn't grow. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here and present with us right now. Wow, what a lot of information to take in one episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm glad you have enjoyed it. You wouldn't be here if you didn't enjoy it. So I'm gonna have to say goodbye. It is what it is. But from me, Michael and Liz, you know, we are the Elite Thinking Club. Thank you so much, everyone, everywhere. Peace and love.